All right, guys, I'm back today with kind of an impromptu video. I wasn't planning on buying this or making this, but I was at Walmart. I went back to the hunting section to pick up some 22. They actually had it at some affordable prices. And while I was there checking out, I saw this guy sitting on the counter. Now, I've been just reviewing a ton of different high value and budget knives, but this is by far one of the cheapest fixed blade knives that actually looked halfway decent that I've seen like ever. So this one, it doesn't feature like a ton of premium materials. It's a polypropylene handle and a stainless steel blade. So probably just generic stainless steel, but it looked pretty cool and it came with a sheath. But the real surprise was that it was like $5.96, so a $6 fixed blade knife. I'm gonna open this up, take a look at it, and give you guys my opinions, and we'll kind of look at it together. But could this be an actual bug out survival camp bag option? Let's open it up and find out. So I have it out of the package and I have developed some initial impressions. Overall, it looks fairly good, but the sheath interface with the knife leaves a lot to be desired. So this is just a cheap plastic ABS sheath, but it does surround the knife pretty good. You get to this point and it just flops around, and then you have to kind of like really press it in there. And at that point, it's almost like you gotta really pull it to get it out. So the interface is pretty darn horrible. I've felt like the $10 and $15 flea market knives have a much better interface with the sheath. But again, we're talking about a $6 knife, so we have to keep things in the perspective. The clip on this guy is actually not that bad, so it works out fairly well. It does have some holes to lash it to something. I just wish the interface with the knife would be a little bit better. The polypropylene handle is also very slick. So they're definitely using that to save money, but it's really slick, but you still get a good ergonomic hold on this. It actually feels really comfortable in the hand, and it's got some jimping on the back that you can control the knife. It's not razor sharp out of the box, but it's fairly sharp, comparable with just other cheap knives. It is a full tang knife, which is nice, and I really like that about this. So this one has a ton of potential. I really feel like it is worth the $6. I really feel like this is competing with a lot of like $10 and $15 knives that you would pick up. Again, cheap steel, a cheap polypropylene handle, and a cheap sheath. But I mean, if you guys were on an extreme budget and you were building out like a stash, cache somewhere where you're going to be burying a few different items, like I think that's where this would really shine. A lot of people are doing survival caches, and something like this can give you a really good option that's definitely usable. But I wouldn't rely on this for like an everyday task. A lot of times I recommend the Moras. They're a much better option for $10. The problem with that, though, is it's a lot of carbon steel and they could rust if they're being buried as a cache knife. Something like this would not. And maybe with a quick few seconds of sharpening the blade up, it may be an actual functional survival or emergency last-ditch knife. So not my favorite, but it is pretty darn cool for $6. I've got some really nice options, though, that I think are insanely better. D2 steel, G10 handles, solid blades, coming in at right around $28. I know that's like 4 times as much, 5 times as much, but when you think about it, it's worth spending the extra money, in my opinion, unless you are going to be doing a bunch of survival caches and kind of burying them in different locations. Something like this would work out pretty well. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.